What if I told you that your blood sugar is quietly damaging your body, right now, and you might not even know it? That every time you feel just a little more tired, a little foggier, or just not quite like yourself, it could be a sign that your glucose levels are creeping higher and higher, beyond what your body can safely handle. The World Health Organization reports that more than 420 million people worldwide are living with diabetes, and the vast majority of them are managing it with medication alone, yet still developing serious complications. In older adults, high blood sugar is especially dangerous. It attacks the eyes, kidneys, and heart long before any symptoms appear. But what most people don't realize is this: there are natural ways to reduce blood sugar that are not only effective, but can also help you avoid medication altogether, if caught early. No injections. No prescriptions. Just real, science-backed lifestyle steps that protect your long-term health. If you or someone you love is living with diabetes in older age, you need to hear this. Because today we're going to show you how to lower your blood sugar naturally, before complications take control. Welcome to Healthy Elderhood, the place where science meets practical wisdom for aging well. If you're over 60 and facing the challenges of rising blood sugar or living with type 2 diabetes, you're not alone, and you're not powerless. On this channel, we don't just talk about living longer. We focus on living better. That means more energy, more clarity, more freedom, and fewer pills, fewer complications, and fewer silent risks that creep in with age. I'm here to guide you with proven natural strategies that are grounded in clinical research and built for real life. In today's episode, we're focusing on how to lower your blood sugar without relying on drugs. No injections. No side effects. No confusion. Just clear steps that help your body regain balance naturally. If you're ready to take charge of your health without fear, this video is for you. Please take a moment to subscribe to Healthy Elderhood, give this video a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a step in your journey toward vibrant aging. Now, let's get started with what your doctor might not have told you about how your body can heal itself naturally. The first and most powerful way to lower your blood sugar naturally is through movement. Not intense, complicated exercise routines. Just movement, deliberate, consistent, and rooted in how your body was designed to function. When you move, your muscles become more than just tools for walking or lifting. They become biological engines that consume glucose, pulling it directly from your bloodstream and converting it into energy. This process bypasses insulin entirely, which is crucial for older adults who often have insulin resistance, a condition where your cells stop responding properly to insulin, leaving sugar trapped in your blood. Here's what's fascinating: your muscles are actually the largest consumers of glucose in your entire body. Even a simple walk after meals can activate glucose transporters in your muscle cells, opening gates that allow sugar to leave your blood and enter where it's needed. This process happens independently of insulin. That means even if your body's insulin response is weak or delayed, which is common after 60, your muscles can still do the job as long as you get them moving. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to join a gym. What you need is a schedule. For example, aim to move your body for 10 to 15 minutes after each meal. It could be a walk around the block, gentle stretching, or even seated exercises with arm movements if mobility is limited. These brief windows of activity help regulate your blood sugar during the most dangerous times. Right after eating, when glucose tends to spike. Think of movement as opening floodgates that allow the extra sugar in your blood to be absorbed before it causes harm. Studies show that older adults who walk for just 10 minutes after meals consistently have lower average glucose levels than those who sit or lie down. And the effect compounds. If you move 3 times a day, every day, the cumulative improvement to your blood sugar control can be profound. But movement also reduces stress, and that matters more than most people realize. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol, which signal your liver to dump extra sugar into the bloodstream, preparing you for a fight or flight response. That might have helped in the wild, but in modern life, stress usually comes from arguments, bills, or worry, not situations where you need extra energy. So the sugar lingers and used and adds to your overall glucose load. Movement, especially gentle rhythmic movement like walking, has been shown to lower cortisol levels. In that way, it reduces blood sugar both directly, by using glucose, and indirectly, by calming the stress signals that make it worse. Movement also improves sleep quality, circulation, digestion, and cognitive function. All areas that tend to decline with age and worsen with unmanaged diabetes. It's not just about lowering numbers on a glucose monitor. It's about giving your entire body a reset signal, multiple times a day. Let me share a quick story. Margaret, a retired librarian in her early 70s, wrote in to say she had been struggling with blood sugar levels that hovered in the high range despite medication. Her doctor added a second pill, but the numbers barely budged. What changed everything was a simple shift: walking for 10 minutes after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Within 3 weeks, her blood sugar readings began to stabilize. She felt more energized and more hopeful, and her doctor eventually reduced her medication. Margaret didn't find a miracle. She activated the most basic biological tool her body already had: her muscles. And so can you. Movement is not optional. It's not extra. It's foundational. It doesn't cost money, it doesn't require fancy equipment, and it doesn't demand perfect health. It only requires your decision to start. Your body is still listening. Give it the signal to heal, and it will respond. Once you begin moving your body consistently, the next pillar in your natural blood sugar recovery plan is food. Not dieting, not restriction, not starving yourself, but rather retraining your body to work with food, not against it. Because every bite you take can either lower your sugar or raise it. The choice lies in what you eat, when you eat, and how your body responds. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Not all carbohydrates are created equal. When you eat refined carbohydrates like white bread, pastries, soda, or processed snacks, they break down quickly into glucose. This causes a rapid rise in your blood sugar and puts enormous pressure on your pancreas to release insulin. For older adults, this pressure builds up over time. The pancreas begins to wear out. The body starts to ignore insulin signals. And before long, you're left with both high sugar and high insulin levels, a dangerous combination. But here's what's remarkable. When you eat whole, fiber-rich carbohydrates, like lentils, beans, rolled oats, or sweet potatoes, the body processes them slowly. Fiber acts like a sponge, soaking up glucose in your digestive tract and slowing its release into your bloodstream. That means fewer spikes, steadier energy, and much less strain on your insulin-producing cells. Protein plays a key role too. When you pair carbohydrates with lean protein, like eggs, grilled chicken, tofu, or Greek yogurt, you create a balanced meal that blunts the glucose curve. This is because protein takes longer to digest and helps trigger hormones that signal fullness and satiety. You end up eating less, absorbing sugar more slowly, and avoiding the roller coaster of post-meal crashes. And don't forget healthy fats. Fats from foods like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds also slow digestion and prevent blood sugar spikes. Contrary to old myths, not all fat is harmful. In fact, for people with type 2 diabetes, especially those over 60, healthy fats can help maintain stable energy and reduce sugar cravings, which are often driven by unstable glucose levels. Meal timing matters as well. Many older adults tend to skip breakfast or eat large, carbohydrate-heavy dinners. This rhythm can throw off your blood sugar regulation entirely. When you wake up, your body is in a fasting state, and your liver is already producing sugar to give you energy. If your first meal is high in carbohydrates with no balance of protein or fiber, it sends your blood sugar soaring. That's why breakfast should be your most balanced meal of the day, rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fat. A typical breakfast might include 2 boiled eggs, half an avocado, and a small bowl of steel-cut oats with cinnamon. This combination feeds your body slow-burning energy, helps balance hormones, and keeps you full well into the afternoon, all without sending your glucose into chaos. Let me give you a real-world example. George, a 68-year-old grandfather from California, was struggling with afternoon fatigue and unpredictable blood sugar levels. After learning about meal composition and timing, he shifted his eating pattern. Smaller, more balanced meals spaced throughout the day. No more skipping meals. No more cereal and orange juice in the morning. Just steady fuel. Within 4 weeks, his energy returned. His cravings disappeared. And most importantly, his blood sugar numbers stabilized, without needing to increase medication. This is the power of food used wisely. No complicated diets. No extreme restrictions. Just an understanding of what your body actually needs, and what it's silently asking you to stop doing. You are not broken. You are simply out of rhythm. And food is one of the fastest ways to bring your body back into harmony. When you eat with intention, you teach your cells to listen again. You restore insulin sensitivity. You give your pancreas room to breathe. And over time, you turn every meal into a moment of healing, not harm. After movement and nutrition, one of the most overlooked but deeply powerful tools for lowering blood sugar naturally is sleep. Not just any sleep, but deep, consistent, high-quality rest that gives your body the chance to repair, regulate hormones, and reset blood sugar metabolism. For many older adults, however, sleep is anything but consistent. You may find yourself waking multiple times a night, falling asleep too late, or rising too early. But what most people don't realize is that every poor night of sleep silently sabotages your blood sugar the next day. Here's how it works. When you don't get enough restful sleep, your body becomes more resistant to insulin. That means the same amount of glucose in your blood now has a harder time entering your cells. Your pancreas is forced to produce more insulin to compensate. Over time, this cycle wears out your body's ability to regulate sugar naturally, and leads to chronic elevations that increase the risk of complications in the heart, kidneys, and nervous system. Sleep deprivation also increases the production of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol triggers your liver to release more glucose into your bloodstream. In small doses, this process helps you wake up in the morning with energy. But when cortisol stays elevated due to poor sleep, your blood sugar remains chronically high, even if you're eating well and moving daily. Now let's look at how this affects hunger. A tired brain is a hungrier brain. When you don't sleep well, your levels of the hormone ghrelin increase, making you crave carbohydrates and sugar, while levels of leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, decrease. The result is that you eat more, often without realizing it, and tend to reach for quick energy foods that spike glucose. But the good news is this: just as poor sleep can raise blood sugar, good sleep can help lower it. Studies have shown that older adults who sleep at least 7 hours per night with minimal interruptions have significantly better fasting glucose levels and improved insulin sensitivity. So how can you sleep better? It starts with routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body has an internal clock, called the circadian rhythm, that controls hormone release and metabolism. When this rhythm is disrupted, your blood sugar control suffers. Avoid screens, especially phones, tablets, and televisions, for at least an hour before bed. The blue light from these devices interferes with melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep. Instead, read a book, listen to calming music, or do gentle stretching. A warm bath or shower before bed can also help lower body temperature, which signals the brain that it's time to wind down. Limit caffeine and alcohol, especially in the late afternoon or evening. Both can disrupt sleep architecture, the natural cycles of deep and light sleep that are essential for glucose regulation. And if anxiety or racing thoughts are keeping you up at night, try simple breathing exercises. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Repeat for 5 minutes. This calms the nervous system, lowers cortisol, and prepares the body for deep rest. Let me share Martha's story. She's 72, and she used to wake up every night at 2 in the morning. She felt tired all day, and her blood sugar kept creeping up, even though she was eating carefully. After watching one of our videos, she began a nighttime routine, dimming lights after dinner, turning off electronics, and using deep breathing before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved, and her blood sugar dropped steadily. What changed? Nothing drastic, just better sleep. Your body cannot heal under stress, and lack of sleep is stress, plain and simple. If you want to lower your blood sugar without drugs, your nights are just as important as your days. Because healing happens in the dark, when you allow your body the time, space, and silence to do what it was designed to do: restore balance. Beyond movement, food, and sleep, there's a fourth element in your body's natural ability to regulate blood sugar that is often misunderstood or completely ignored: stress. Not just emotional stress, but physiological stress too. And for older adults, the impact of chronic stress on blood sugar can be severe, long-lasting, and dangerously silent. Let's look at how this works inside your body. When you experience stress, whether it's a sudden worry, a long-term problem, or even a physical illness, your body enters what's called a fight or flight state. This triggers the release of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which prepare your body to take action. One of their key jobs is to increase the amount of sugar in your bloodstream, giving your muscles immediate fuel to escape danger. But here's the problem. In modern life, most stress doesn't involve physical movement. You're not running from wild animals. You're sitting in traffic, worrying about bills, or dealing with health anxiety. And yet, your body still releases that sugar into the blood. Because there's no physical action to use it up, that glucose builds up over time, keeping your blood sugar elevated, even if you haven't eaten anything at all. This is especially problematic for people over 60, whose hormonal regulation has already begun to shift. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to the damaging effects of cortisol. That means even moderate stress can have a disproportionately large impact on our glucose levels. And it's not just daily spikes we're worried about, it's the long-term consequences of keeping blood sugar too high too often. This includes damage to your blood vessels, your kidneys, your nerves, and even your brain. So how do you lower stress in a way that helps lower blood sugar, without turning to medication? You start by recognizing the signs. In older adults, stress doesn't always feel like panic. It may show up as irritability, sleep disturbances, digestive issues, or even unexplained fatigue. These subtle signs can be your body's way of saying, "I'm carrying too much." The most effective strategy is daily, intentional stress reduction, not waiting until you feel overwhelmed. Just 10 minutes a day of conscious relaxation can begin to shift your body out of stress mode. Try this. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on slow breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Repeat this for 5 to 10 minutes. This simple pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the system that tells your body it is safe, calm, and no longer needs to release sugar. Other gentle practices include listening to soft instrumental music, walking outdoors, gardening, light stretching, or even prayer and meditation. These are not luxuries. They are tools for survival, especially when your blood sugar is involved. Connection is also powerful. Social isolation is one of the biggest hidden stressors in older adults. If you live alone or feel lonely, consider joining a local walking group, faith group, or community center. A weekly phone call with a friend can be enough to lower cortisol and improve your sense of purpose. Let me tell you about Samuel. At 68, he was managing his diet and medications but still couldn't get his blood sugar to stabilize. He didn't feel stressed in the traditional sense, but he lived alone and spent most of his time watching the news. After a gentle suggestion from his doctor, he started turning off the television 2 hours earlier each night and replaced it with classical music and a phone call to his daughter. Within 1 month, his fasting blood sugar dropped by over 20 points. Stress doesn't always feel dramatic, but it always leaves a mark. By learning to calm your nervous system, you reduce the hormonal signals that keep your blood sugar high. And you give your body the space it needs to reset, repair, and heal, naturally. Once you've begun moving more, eating smarter, sleeping deeper, and managing stress intentionally, the next essential step in lowering blood sugar naturally is monitoring. Because without data, you're flying blind. You may feel better, or worse, but you won't know what's actually happening inside your body unless you track it. Monitoring doesn't mean obsessing over numbers. It means using information to make better choices and to celebrate the progress your body is making. Start with daily awareness. If you have access to a home glucose meter, aim to check your blood sugar first thing in the morning before eating anything. This is known as your fasting glucose level. It gives a snapshot of how your body is regulating sugar overnight, when you're not eating, not moving, and not consciously influencing anything. Over time, as you apply the natural strategies from this video, you should see that number gradually trend downward. But just as important as the reading itself is what you associate with it. Did you sleep well the night before? Were you stressed the day before? Did you eat dinner late or skip movement after your meal? Logging these factors alongside your reading helps you connect patterns. You're not just checking numbers. You're collecting insight. Beyond fasting glucose, it's useful to check your blood sugar about 90 minutes after eating. This shows how your body handles food. If your levels remain within a healthy range, it means your cells are absorbing sugar effectively. If the number spikes dramatically, it's a sign that the meal may need to be adjusted. Maybe less carbohydrate, more fiber, or a walk afterward. The goal here is not perfection. It's feedback. Feedback allows you to course correct in real time rather than waiting for a doctor's appointment 3 months from now. When you catch spikes early, you prevent damage later. Now, let's talk about evaluating progress over time. Every few weeks, take a look at your average readings. Are they stabilizing? Are the highs less extreme? Are the lows less frequent? These trends tell you far more than one isolated number ever could. Many people find that with just 3 weeks of consistent action, movement, smart eating, sleep, and stress control, their average blood sugar can drop by 15 to 30 points. Let me share an example. Linda, a retired teacher in her mid-60s, began tracking her readings after each meal for 1 month. She quickly realized that oatmeal, which she had believed was healthy, consistently spiked her sugar higher than any other food. By switching to a protein-based breakfast, boiled eggs with sautéed vegetables, her post-meal readings dropped significantly, and her energy remained stable well into the afternoon. Without monitoring, she never would have known. For those who don't own a glucose meter, don't worry. There are still many ways to track your body's signals. Notice how you feel after eating. Are you sleepy? Craving more food? Mentally foggy? These are clues that your blood sugar may be too high. On the other hand, if you feel calm, clear-headed, and satisfied, you've likely found the right combination of foods and activity for your body. The last key is consistency. Natural methods do not produce overnight miracles, but they do create lasting change when practiced daily. If you stop monitoring, you stop learning. If you stop adjusting, you risk drifting back into the habits that caused the imbalance in the first place. The secret to sustaining your results without medication lies in awareness, adaptation, and accountability. Think of monitoring not as punishment, but as empowerment. Every number is your body speaking to you. And now you have the tools to listen, respond, and guide it gently back toward balance, without drugs, without complications, and without fear. If you've made it this far, then you already know something important. You are not stuck. You are not broken. And your health is not out of your hands. The path to lower blood sugar without medication isn't a fantasy. It's a biological reality, one that thousands of people, including older adults well into their 70s and 80s, are discovering every single day. Because your body is not your enemy. It is not working against you. In fact, it has been fighting for you all along, trying to manage every spike, every stressor, every poor night's sleep, and every imbalance. But now, for the first time in perhaps a long time, you're learning how to fight with it, not against it. You've seen how something as simple as walking after a meal can unlock the sugar-burning potential of your muscles. No insulin required. You've discovered how choosing whole foods rich in fiber, protein, and healthy fat can flatten glucose curves and reduce cravings. You've learned that sleep isn't just about rest, it's about healing. And you now understand that stress, even the invisible kind, can quietly erode your progress, unless you learn how to bring your nervous system back into balance. You've also seen that monitoring your own progress, whether with a meter, a journal, or your own awareness, can transform your relationship with your health. Suddenly, you're not guessing anymore. You're responding, adjusting, leading. You've become an active participant in your own healing process. And that's the key word, healing. Because while blood sugar is the number everyone focuses on, it's just one piece of the puzzle. What we're really talking about here is renewal. You are renewing your energy, your mobility, your freedom, your confidence. You are reclaiming time, moments, and choices that used to feel out of reach. This is why the message of this video matters so much. Because far too many people over 60 are told that once you start medication, that's your only option. That the only way forward is more prescriptions, more side effects, and more complications. But that's simply not true. For many older adults, the body is still incredibly responsive to natural interventions, when they are consistent, science-based, and tailored to real life. And no, this isn't about shaming medication. For some, it is necessary. But what today's message shows you is that medication doesn't have to be the starting point, or the only path. Your muscles are medicine. Your meals are medicine. Your breath is medicine. Your routine, your rest, your awareness, all of it has healing power. The question is, will you use it? Here's what I want you to remember. Progress does not require perfection. You will have days when you eat too much, when you miss your walk, when stress gets the best of you. That's okay. The goal is not to become flawless. The goal is to become consistent. To build rhythms so natural, so aligned with your biology, that health becomes a byproduct, not a daily battle. You've already taken the first step by learning. Now take the second step by applying. Choose one strategy from today, just one, and put it into action before the day is over. Go for a short walk. Prepare a balanced meal. Breathe deeply before bed. Write down your fasting blood sugar. Celebrate that step. And then repeat it tomorrow. And the day after that. Because change happens in layers. In repetitions. In quiet decisions that add up to transformation. And while you walk this road, know this: you are not alone. Here at Healthy Elderhood, we are building a community of older adults who are choosing strength over surrender, clarity over confusion, action over fear. Every week, we share science-backed guidance to help you thrive in your later years, not just survive them. If this video helped you in any way, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a step. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell us what resonated. Tell us what you've tried. Share your victories, your struggles, your questions, because your voice may be the exact one that gives someone else the courage to keep going. Your age does not disqualify you from healing. It qualifies you. Because now you have the wisdom, the motivation, and the urgency to take action that truly matters. You've lived enough years to know what's worth fighting for, and what's not. And your health, your strength, your future, it is always worth fighting for. Lowering your blood sugar without drugs isn't a miracle. It's a method. And now you have that method in your hands.